Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're completely stepping away from the bright lights of our usual topics, and, well, we're descending into something much, much darker. Seriously, I want you to mentally prepare yourself because we're about to analyze a legendary piece of cursed media, a completely immersive digital nightmare known simply as the final broadcast of Scarytown. This isn't just your standard internet urban legend, it's a gothic horror experience that, according to the lore, actually traps the souls of anyone who tunes in. So, let's dim the lights and begin our descent. It always starts in the pitch dark, with a desperate search through the radio dial. You know the feeling, right? You're just looking for music, for news, honestly, just for another human voice. But instead, your dial logs onto this forbidden frequency, 66.6 FM. The familiar background noise of your life just completely drops away, and it's replaced entirely by this incredibly thick, heavy static. It's right here, on this pitch-black, cursed bandwidth, that the true nightmare of Scarytown actually begins.
And waiting for you on the other end of that static is the host of the Void. Just look at the sheer terror of this entity, the tattered, hooded cloak, those piercing, glowing red eyes that seem to stare right through you, and those impossibly sharp claws resting so casually near that vintage microphone. The Lord tells us that this skeletal figure isn't just some spooky shock jock. He literally broadcasts directly from the abyss. His voice, layered deep beneath the crackle of the radio, is essentially an auditory spiderweb. It's perfectly designed to paralyze you, latch onto your consciousness, and pull your very soul into his twisted reality. Okay, let's dive into this for a second, because we really need to analyze the chilling declaration spoken by our skeletal host the exact moment you try to change the channel. Your soul belongs to the static now. This isn't just a spooky intro to set the mood. It's the literal mechanism of the curse. By hearing these words, the listener becomes physically tethered to the frequency. There's no turning back. You literally can't turn it off. The broadcast stops being something you're just passively listening to, and it becomes a physical, inescapable space that your mind is dragged right into.
As the host's voice starts echoing inside your mind, the actual reality around you begins to physically shift. The deceptive outskirts, what initially looks like a quiet, normal carriage path, are violently overtaken by this creeping infection. In the blink of an eye, your world transforms into a dark, haunted, gothic nightmare. The skies turn a really sickly, unnatural green, the trees wither down into twisted claws, and the cobblestones get slick with a dread that you can almost feel in your bones. You aren't just listening to Scarytown anymore. You are officially walking its streets.
And as you get pulled deeper and deeper into the terrifying nightmare logic of this broadcast, you start to notice that the environment itself is actively hostile. The atmosphere grows incredibly, suffocatingly heavy. A freezing, relentless downpour begins out of nowhere. But, as the lore of this cursed frequency warns us, the rain here never washes the blood away. And it's exactly in this freezing, inescapable downpour that we are forced into our first horrifying location.
We arrive at the Street of Corpses. It's just absolute, bleak, relentless gothic horror. You have this towering, crooked architecture closing in on you from both sides, creating this profound, terrifying sense of claustrophobia. And right there, dead center in the driving rain, is the grim, physical manifestation of the curse, a hanging, decaying corpse suspended directly over the muddy road. The host's static-laced voice whispers in your ear that this is the fate of the listeners who tried to tune out. They don't escape. They just become permanent fixtures of the broadcast.
Naturally, you run. You run from the hanging corpse, desperately trying to find any possible way out of the town limits. The claustrophobic alleys finally give way to open land, but somehow the dread only amplifies. Because right then, the host's voice crackles over the radio once more with a new warning. The harvest demands a heavy toll.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what he means. You stumble into the cursed agricultural lands of Scarytown, and the meaning of his words becomes terrifyingly clear. Glowing jack-o'-lanterns are offering the only faint light in the dark, but rising out of the thick, heavy fog right behind them is a colossal, looming lurker. This giant skeletal entity is actively guarding the fields. The absolute genius of this lore is how it takes a traditional, cozy symbol of autumn, a standard pumpkin patch, and completely corrupts it with a gargantuan, Lovecraftian scale of terror. The town isn't just haunted, you guys. It's overseen by actual titans of decay. Blindly fleeing the giant in the fields, your tethered soul is violently yanked right back into the urban decay of the town center. We are reaching the climax of the broadcast now. The host tells you, with this dry, absolutely rattling laugh, that you've made a wrong turn.
Some alleys are one-way streets. So the crucial point is that the trap finally closes in this very dark alley. Just look at the desperate blood-red warnings splashed all across the signs and the brick walls. Leave before dark. Help. I mean, the imagery is brutally clear. But it's way too late. Standing right under the ominous glow of the distant clock tower, totally blocking your only exit, is the woman in white. She is the final, terrifying checkpoint of this journey. Her presence signifies that your connection to the real world has been entirely, permanently severed. You are completely trapped in the host's domain.
The chase is over. The woman in white steps forward. The radio frequency hits this ear-splitting pitch of pure white noise, and then just absolute silence. The host has finished his broadcast. But we have to ask the ultimate question. Where does your soul actually end up once the signal drops? Brace yourselves, because we're entering the true core of this madness.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the ultimate horrifying truth of the lore. Scary Town, it isn't actually a town at all. This right here is the true endpoint of the cursed frequency, a post-apocalyptic, completely ruined city. Total, suffocating desolation. The Gothic streets, the pumpkin fields, those dark alleys, they were literally all just illusions. It was a theatrical maze custom designed by the host just to wear down your psyche. Once your soul is fully trapped and your will is broken, the illusion drops, leaving you here entirely alone in a dark, dead metropolis for eternity. Let's just quickly break down the chronological mechanics of exactly how this curse operates, because it's such a fascinating piece of extreme horror lore. Step 1. Hearing the static. The trap is laid the very second that auditory anomaly begins. Step 2. Seeing the red eyes. The host manifests right in your mind's eye, completely replacing your visual reality with his terrifying illusion of Scary Town. And finally, Step 3. The soul tether. By forcing you through the visceral dread of those hanging corpses and those lurking giants, he totally breaks your will until your soul is permanently anchored to that ruined reality we just talked about.
Well, we've reached the end of our explainer. We've dissected the lore, we've walked those freezing, rainy streets, and we've completely analyzed the illusions. But before we sign off today, I want you to pause for just a second. Listen to the room around you right now. Think back to the host, staring right through you with those glowing red eyes. The final broadcast has been fully explained, but tell me, can you feel the static taking hold of your own soul?